Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. It's time for another first impression. So we are trying out Soleil Fox Dip Powders today. And I've got a pretty good variety of dips from them. I've got some foils, I've got some glitters, I've got some shimmers. So we're going to go through and unbox this, see how everything was packaged, and take a look at the dips and swatch them all up. And then we will take a couple of them and put together a very pretty kind of a spring to summer transitional mani. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around. We're getting into it. Okay guys, so a little disclaimer here, I'm kind of cheating a little bit with this one just because technically it's like first impression and a half. I've actually tried one of their foils before. It was actually quite some time ago. It was over a year ago and it was just that one foil. So I kind of feel like that wasn't really well-rounded enough to get a good impression about the brand. So I'll kind of get to all that here in a little bit, but I'm really still calling this a first impressions because I really haven't fully tried out the brand yet. So I've had a couple of my buddies in the nail community trying to get me to do a first impressions on Soleil Fox. So I figured when I saw they were doing a sale, that was a good time to try them out. So I took advantage of the sale to pick up, a pretty good variety here. Like I said, I have some shimmers, I have some glitters, and then I have some foils. So we're gonna open this up and see how everything arrived. I will let you know that from ordering to receiving took about a week, which is pretty standard, I would say, for small businesses. I wouldn't say that was particularly fast or slow, and that was fine by me. I didn't have any problems with the time frame. All right, so let's open this baby up and see what I got. Okay, so pretty standard. It came in a nice little padded mailer, and then inside we have this mesh bag with all the dip powders in there, and then it looks like we have a little packet with some extra goodies in here. So I went ahead and pulled all the dips out, and so I figured we would take a look at these here in a bit, but I wanted to go ahead and show you what was in the little packet. So I like how these extra goodies were really packaged in here with this, little sealed baggie, and then we've got the little free gifts inside. And first thing I saw, of course, was the Swedish fish. Y'all, I'm a huge fan of Swedish fish, so, I might have just eaten that while I was unpacking the rest. So we've got a nice little thank you card with a lot of information on it. It looks like there's a cute little nail fee ring in here. And then we've got some really cute little feather water slide decals. And then we've also got a nice little sticker. So pretty cool little collection of things. And of course we got your buffer block and your orange stick. So all right, now that I've eaten my Swedish fish, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the dip powders. All right, so I've zoomed in here and you can probably see that we have some different types of artwork on top of these jars, and I'm guessing that is because some of these belong to specific collections, and so I believe the different labels are to designate that collection. But you can see we have a nice little array of little artwork on the top of these dip powders, and I'm going to pick up one just so you can see it a little closer because what a little work of art this is. I just think it's so cute with the scenery and the pretty writing, and I just really, really like it. You can see everything came sealed with those, I don't know what they're called, guys, but when you tear the strip off and then you can get the rest of the plastic off, and that very much impresses me because what a way to really prevent spillage. So really amazing packaging. Definitely have to give her like a 15 out of 10 on the packaging. Now these are going to be half-ounce size jars. That was all that was available, so I don't know if she just has never sold quarter ounce, or honestly I can't remember the first one I bought and I can't find it, so I'm not sure if that's what I bought originally. But again, here's a look at some of the different types of artwork on top here. But yeah, all of these are going to be half-ounce size jars, which, to be completely honest for you, is not really ideal for me just because I have such a large collection. I typically don't purchase anything over a quarter ounce. But, that's just personal preference. As far as the jars and the packaging themselves, I have to say, I really have to give her so much credit for this absolutely stunning packaging. All right, so we've got 9 dip powders to swatch, so let's get going. All right, so we are starting first with the shimmers, and the first one I have here is called We Belong Together, and this is just a really pretty shimmery white. The next one we have here is called Got Pink, and this is a really pretty kind of a mid-tone rosy pink with shimmer in it. Next we have Eris, and this color takes my breath away. It's a beautiful, super dark blue purple shimmer, and the shimmer is just mind-blowing. Moving into the glitters, the first one we have here is called Juliet, and this is a gorgeous kind of a pinkish iridescent fine glitter. It's really beautiful. Next we have Wild Child, and this is more of a chunky glitter, but what a cool combo. It's got some teal, it's got some pink, it's got some gold, and then it's got some black, and it's a pretty nice mix of fine to chunky. The next one we have is called Stone Cold Fox, and what a gorgeous chunky glitter this is. It's a beautiful mix of like blue and teal shades. It's really, really pretty. Moving into the foils, the first one we have here is called Hope, Strength, and Love. And this is a beautiful kind of soft and sheer pink with a variety of pink and purple and iridescent kind of foils in it. It's really gorgeous. The next one we have is called Sundance, and this is such a unique color. It's kind of a yellowish creamy color, and then it's got some different colored foils in there. We've got some blue, some copper, and some gold. Last but not least, we have Lavender Martini, and my purple loving heart would not let me check out without this one. It's a very soft purple, but then it's got a variety of purpley shades and foils in it. So there's some pinks, some magentas, some dark purple. Now, I think it's worth mentioning on Lavender Martini that I did not swatch this very carefully, so you can probably see some of these magenta foils did bleed. It's actually not very uncommon. It's pretty usual with darker colored foils that they are going to bleed to some extent. And the way you can stop that is by floating your base over instead of kind of dragging your brush through it. I believe I have a video on that where I talked about that. I'll see if I can find it and link it for you in the cards. But all you're really going to do is instead of kind of like brushing the base on it, you're just kind of float it over the top. Just kind of move it around over the top gently with your brush without trying to dig it into the powder too much. And then of course encapsulate and clear, and that should avoid the bleeding altogether. So I gotta be completely honest, I was dying to use those blues, but I really do feel like people turn to Soleil Fox for their foils, so it didn't really feel right doing our first impressions without using one of the foils. So I felt like the best color match we had were these two from the breast cancer trio, so that's what I decided to use. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I really was dying to use that dark blurple. Like, it was screaming at me, but I knew I was gonna use the glitter with it, and like I said, I really wanted to be sure to use a foil because I feel like that's what most people go for. Alright, so we're going to put God Pink on the thumb, the middle, and the pinky, and then we're going to put Hope, Strength, and Love, that beautiful foil, on the ring and the pointer. And then we're just going to do a real simple nail art design on the middle finger. Alright guys, so I'm going to step back for a little bit and let you just watch the first few layers, and then I'll be back here in a bit.
Some balance in my life, but I never really put up a fight. Didn't follow my dreams, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say.
Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and activate this one. I'm sure you can see how easily God Pink went on. It's beautiful, and I feel like it's one of those that looks different depending on the lighting, so it can look a little bit more like red rose in certain light, and then another light that shimmer, that icy shimmer really comes through and it looks more like a pinky color than a rose tone. So I think it's a really nice color and I feel like it's very versatile. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and dip into that foil, which is Hope, Strength, and Love, and I just have to say how much I love this one. This is one of those that I actually am kind of glad I have a half ounce of because I just think it is so beautiful. It's one of those that while you're putting it on, it looks kind of underwhelming, but once you actually start to activate it and top coat, it really just kind of sings with all those little foils in them and all the holographic pieces. I just really, really love this one. Now, like I said, I feel like Soleil Fox is really known for their foils, and that's not to discount how beautiful the shimmer is and how much I liked those glitters and how easily they swatched, but I just feel like people really are drawn to them for their special foils, and this one is no exception. So if you're not somebody who's worked with a lot of foils or you're still not very comfortable with them, really my best advice to you is to try not to shake the liner on the first layer. Don't try to get too many foils on the first layer because you're probably going to want to just to build up a little bit of opacity. And if you start to get a lot of foils on that bottom layer, then as you add more foils on top, it kind of gets a little bulky looking. So as you can see, I don't have very many foils on this first layer, and that's what I intended to do. That's why I did not shake the liner. It's worth noting that not all foils bleed. It's typically the darker ones or the more pigmented ones. None of the foils on this particular powder bled at all. I didn't have any problems at all when I dragged my brush through it, so I think that's worth noting. Now you'll see on the second layer, I do shake the liner to get more of those foils towards the top. Now I'm looking, because I'm probably gonna just finish with the second layer, I'm looking to get more of those foil pieces to the top so I can get more of them on, get more of that foily effect. But you'll notice that after I dip them, what I do is I typically will go around the cuticle and then start pressing down the foils really into that powder while my dip liquid is still a little wet, and that's just to kind of make it easier on myself. If I can kind of push them down a little bit and get them to secure a little bit better to the nail, then it'll just be easier for me later on. So you can see how gorgeous this looks after 2 layers, and it looks even better when it's activated. So, you know, this foil went on very easily, and I really, really love the color foils in it and the iridescent look of it. I just think it's really pretty. Now, you can, if you don't like the look of it, you can go back and place some more foils by hand. I usually do that, but I kind of like the way these fell, just the way they were, so I didn't end up doing any hand placing. And as far as this clear encapsulation here that I'm doing, I don't really think it needed it, just because I didn't feel like there was a lot of filing and buffing to do. But, you know, just for good measure, because it's a foil, I went ahead and dipped it in clear. So this is just a single layer of clear top coat here. All right, so 2 layers of the color and 1 layer of clear over the foil, and we're looking pretty beautiful here. So I'm going to jump off camera real quick and file and buff, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I am back, and I did go ahead and top coat everything with my gel top coat, except for the middle finger where we're going to do the nail art. And just look at that foil with the gel top coat on top. Isn't it just mesmerizing? I love it. I love it so much. And I think the shimmer is really pretty too. All right, so I'm kind of using a random hodgepodge for my nail art here. I've got these gold beads from my little Amazon flower set. I've got a little set here with some different size rhinestones, and then I've got these 3 liners from my Beetles pastel kit, and then I have my gold from my iGel Beauty kit. So I know it's kind of a hodgepodge here. You obviously can use whatever colors you want. This is just kind of the look I was going for. So since I'm using gels for my art, I'm going to go ahead and put down a layer of gel base, and I'm going to let you know that I'm not really going to talk you through the nail art much because I really don't want that to be the focus of the video. So I'm going to leave it in here so you can see what I did, but I really wanted to focus more on talking about my experience and my thoughts while we do the nail art. By the way, I did want to start off by saying that this is a design that I kind of took inspiration from one of my friends, Lauren at Painted and Polished. So if you're not following her on Instagram, I will have her feed linked down below, but I just thought this was a really cute and simple design, and I like to keep it pretty simple when I'm doing first impressions because, like I said, I really want the focus of the video to be more on the company and the dip powders themselves than the nail art technique I'm using. Alright, so like I said, I did try Soleil Fox over a year ago, and I really did enjoy the foil I tried, but at the time I was shopping their dip powders, they were having a lot of things just go out of stock, and there was a lot of demand for some of these foils and some of their other products, so it got to the point to where every time I found something I wanted, it was either out of stock or it was one of those things where they were going to re-release it at this time, and pretty much if you weren't there right away, which usually I can't be, then it was gone by the time I got there. So this is no shade to them at all, because they're definitely not the only company that this kind of thing happens with, but it just got a little frustrating because every time I wanted something I couldn't get it, and I just kind of gave up after a little bit. Now that was over a year ago, and I will say that this time when I went to go shop, there definitely were some things that I wanted that she did show as sold out. So, you know, it wasn't as frustrating because there were still a lot of options available for me and things that I did like, but there definitely were some that I were really interested in and I was not going to be able to get. But to my understanding, she's really good about trying to restock things when she does have that option. So again, I'm not trying to shade that at all. In fact, I think that's a nice problem for a small business to have, is to have that kind of demand. But there definitely were some other powders that I would have picked up with these if they were available. So the other thing I will mention, and again, this is not to single them out because this is something I see with a lot of brands, whenever there are single dip powder colors listed, it kind of makes it a little difficult to shop because you can't really tell how well one dip powder is going to go with another. So I'm definitely somebody who likes to see collections, because then I kind of have like a range of powders that are in one kind of vibe and everything looks really nice together. And then I might buy the whole collection, or I might only buy a few pieces from it, but at least I can see visually with the collection kind of shown together what really goes well together, so I can choose what I think will look nice together. So many of our listings didn't show the colors together, so it was kind of hard to decide if something was going to look good with it or not. So I ended up with some blues that didn't quite exactly go together. Like, I feel like the blue shimmer and the blue chunky glitter did, but I was hoping that blue would go nicely with the foil. It's just not exactly the right shade of blue. So I know this sounds really nitpicky, guys, and I'm not saying it's not, it definitely is. I'm totally one of those nitpicky people that wants like the color in the glitter to match the color in the solid. And I know some people don't care about that, and I think, you know, to each their own, that is totally fine. But, you know, I definitely wish there were a little bit more, I guess, at least pairings or like suggestions for colors that would look really good together, because I think that makes it easier to shop online when you can't really see the colors in person and see how well they coordinate. But again, you know, that's just my feeling on it. So hopefully that doesn't come across as nitpicky. I'm just trying to give you some observations about my shopping experience that I noticed. But, you know, again, those things are not important to everybody, and I wouldn't even say they're like super critical to me. And again, if I go back and look at my shopping experience from when I placed the order to when I received it, how beautifully everything was packaged and how amazingly everything swatched, I really am happy with what I picked up. All right, so here is the mani all finished up with the cute little nail art, and I really like how it turned out. And make sure you stay for the photos at the end, because I feel like in this lighting, the shimmer doesn't look like it's the best pair with the foil, but it actually is perfect. I think it's just the lighting that's making it kind of look a little bit more red than it is pink, which it's really a lot more pink. Alright, so I'm ready for some cuticle balm here. So I'm using Scales of a Mermaid here in Golden Blondie, and I wanted to show you that this is their larger balm. I typically use the smaller ones, the more chapstick size ones, but the last time I was shopping I went ahead and picked up some of the larger ones just because I thought they'd be nice to have on hand. So this is that size in comparison, but it's still the same formula, and I love that this is not so like stiff that you're kind of like pressing and like mashing on your skin just to get any out. This actually comes out very easily, and it really does give so much hydration and really massages right in, and I just love it. I really can't say enough wonderful things about their balms. And remember, I do have code CARRY10, and that will get you 10% off your Skills purchases every time you shop. Okay guys, so here's the look all finished up, and you can probably see my other end in the background. I didn't do the nail art on. That's not because I didn't think I could do it, but it's just because I was kind of running short on time and I had a bunch of things to get done before the work week. But see, now you can see it there with the art and without it. But I really am just so happy with how these applied. They were beautiful dip powders. And like I said, judging by how the others swatched, I really think the glitters are going to be super easy to use as well. And the other foils as well. The only thing I'll say about that dark purple foil is just make sure that you're using that kind of floating over top to get the foil not to bleed. But you know, otherwise I just can't say enough great things about these dip powders. And like I said, if you're somebody who is willing to have things not match, you're not worried about that, then I would say go for it. And even if you are somebody who cares about those, I have a couple of friends that I follow that do a lot of Soleil Fox manis, and I'll have some of their Instagram feeds linked down below. I would say go look at their manis and see what they paired with those colors, and that might help you shop a little bit, because that's kind of what I did to make sure to pick out some that I knew were going to go well together. But yeah, like I said, as far as the quality goes, it's top notch, and I really love that they have a great variety of these really beautiful and unique foils. So I think that gives you a pretty good idea of my thoughts. I really enjoyed using these products, and I would love to hear in the comments down below if you've tried Soleil Fox, and if so, please share your experiences with us. As for me, I'm really looking forward to going back and using those blues, because I really need to use that blurple shimmer. It's just way too pretty. So that is going to complete this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you would give me a thumbs up down below. And while you're there, if you have not subscribed already, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. So as always, guys, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.